This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 24 for Sunday, September 25th, 2005. And welcome once again to This Week in Tech, live from Noon's Bar and Grill in beautiful downtown Larkspur Landing, California, and a big cast of TWiTs today in our, once again, live broadcast. Shall I introduce? Somebody sent me an email, said, for some reason my MP3 player dies after the first half hour, so could you do all the good stuff in the first half hour and introduce people at the end of the show? And I thought, no, I can't. Patrick Norton, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. I love you. I love you, man. Sitting to his right, John C. Dvorak. Hello. He gets no spam. Although apparently that's not true.
No, actually, well, somebody sent me some in the mail, but I do have some news later.
All right, we'll talk about that. Robert Heron from PC Magazine.
Hello, Neil.
Robert. Roger Chang from GameSpot.com. David Traeger is here. He's from Rev3. And, of course, last but not least, Kevin Rose. And also, we're going to talk a little bit later on to Amber MacArthur is here from Command N Television and Call for Help, and from OpenAlpha.tv we've got Jen Cutter. So we've got more people. And by popular demand, we finally got some women on the show. After we had Jessica Corbin on, I've been asking her back again and again, and she just won't come anywhere near us.
Her email address doesn't work either.
Yeah, she's decided to she's changed the locks.
Maybe she's not getting the emails with the requests.
So because, John, you're so famous for I Get No Spam, we got some hats. This is a I Get No Spam hat.
All right.
That John C. Dvorak. Look at that. Isn't that great?
That's what I need.
I didn't order that. I want to thank Chris Haynes from Corporate Casuals who
getting a lot of
made
good
those.
Stuff.
We get a lot of good stuff. There's the TWiT hat.
Yeah, I need a couple of those.
If you guys like these, we can hand these around. If you guys like these, we can make. Would you buy TWiT hats if they were available? Yeah. It's gonna end up being like one of those. We don't have enough to give them to everybody.
Yeah, we don't do any advertising. We just sell clothes.
Well, it's going to be like one of those concerts for somebody who hasn't had a hit in 30 years, right. But they're selling the stuff in the back, And then what from Australia? You came all the way from Australia? Step up to the red mic there. This is going to be the first TWiT where we actually spend the first 20 minutes talking nonsense. Where are you from?
From Sydney, Australia.
That's great. Welcome. And you brought us something to eat. What is this?
Can you say something about shrimp on the Barbie?
Shrimp on the Barbie?
Yeah, never.
Yeah. And when you get back there, can you say hi to my friend Canadian Paul, who's in Sydney right now?
You see him right off this.
They bought you some kangaroo jerky.
That's good. It says
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
You're eating it.
Australians wouldn't eat that, but
they don't drink Foster's either.
Yeah, no, that's true. We don't drink Foster's. Wouldn't touch Foster's. VB's the bit.
But it exports well.
It's for Americans.
By the way, the flavor enhancer 621.
Okay.
What's in this?
That's monosodium glutamate.
Okay. Doesn't surprise me.
Hey,
we figured it out.
It says. Did you? It says not to be sold in the United States.
Is that what it says?
I made that up.
You made that up.
I did declare it coming in.
Did you?
And they thanked me.
What did the customs guy said? Thanks for bringing us jerky.
They said thanks for actually admitting it. Yeah.
And he let you in.
And he let me in. Yeah.
It's sanitary jerky.
It's sanitary. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's very
You're
nice.
most welcome.
It's very tasty, actually.
It is good. And we're giving it to everybody.
Well, he's our longest guest ever.
We're shying away.
Really good. He's our longest traveling audience member.
The farthest audience member?
Yeah, I
people
think we
come
should
from
have
all
a contest.
To see.
In fact, let's give him a can of Spam.
It's
that's courtesy of what blog, John?
Cultural exchange. That's what that is.
So
we apologize.
You're welcome.
That's a cultural
Are we
exchange.
going to
Tastes
start
like
with the
beef.
most important story of the week?
What is the
by
most
far?
important story of the week
most
by far?
important story of
The
week
MS
is-
reorg or
is
Tivo driving itself off a
The
cliff?
official announcement of the breakup of Microsoft. That's the
Oh yeah,
biggest story of the
Dvorak
week.
announced it. That's but Microsoft did. Now we're all going to sound like we're eating beef kangaroo jerky the whole time.
Let's pause the tape for a moment while we all finish chewing into
There's
the
no
microphones.
tape. There's no tape. So Microsoft did a reorg. First, what's the story there? What did they do?
Well, it looks to me as though they're in a panic mode. So here's a company, by the way, that is basically the stock's flatlined over the last few years. And historically, Microsoft's always attracted a lot of really good people by promising them a lot of stock options and then letting the stock go flying high, and then they'd make all the money on the stock, and they wouldn't have to pay them a lot.
Right, but they
well,
made
now they have
millionaires.
to. Now they got to actually pay them real money, and people aren't interested. They'd rather be millionaires than high salary workers.
This accounts for the brain drain to Google.
And many a brain drain. I mean, there's a lot of guys I've run into over the last couple of years that used to work for Microsoft, and they're all these go-getters, and they're much happier working in a little startup where they can get maybe make a few $1 million on a stock deal. So by reorging it, and it looks like if you look at the reorg, it's almost like if you just theoretically divided the company up into 3 companies that could stand alone, that's what they're doing. And it seems to me they're either going to punch out one or more of these companies.
So what are the 3 divisions?
You got Xbox and all that stuff.
The consumer.
Yeah, and it's got the keyboards and all the other things.
Stuff.
And then you have the operating system tools guys, and then you have the office software stuff.
That does sound like 3, and 3 fairly good companies.
Yeah,
right?
and the office guys, they can do the SAP kind of products, and they do the enterprise stuff, and then the original Microsoft I think would be. I think that if they're going to retain a name, they'd retain it for the OS part of the business.
Oh, so they'd have to rename these other.
Yeah, these are going to. I think these could either be another public companies that could have their separate stocks, or it could be they could even take the Xbox one. It seems to me, and roll it out as an IPO, and because they're going to need a lot of cash to compete in that business. Roll it out as an IPO and then become a just a gaming company.
But John, if you were going to do a reorg, you would reorg along business lines anyway. I mean, it doesn't mean that
they've reorged 5 or 6 times, and they've never reorged this nicely. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to reorg.
Or are they finally trying to get back to the original flat management structure that kind of carried them during the first couple of decades?
Well, it seems to me that what I argue is that if you take a look at the Microsoft cash cows and their core competencies, each one of these separate entities has one of them, not 2 of them in it, which means that they could sustain.
Right.
I think it's a bust up.
So when is it going to happen?
It would take probably 1.5 to 2 years.
And where does Bill go?
I think Bill would go with the OS company.
That's what it is.
But he'd get a lot of stock with the other companies.
Yeah, he'd sit on the board of all the companies,
Yeah.
right?
Where does Ballmer go?
Well, Jeff Rakes is
Who gets Ballmer?
I think Ballmer's going to retire. I think Jeff Rakes, by the way, they had to give him something eventually. He's the guy that they gave the Office division to, and Rakes is the guy they've been grooming since day one to be the CEO.
Right.
And he can't just be sitting around forever waiting for Ballmer to, retire.
Where would the media center fit in all of that? Do you think
that-
that would go for the entertainment
OS?
that
Xbox
would go
side
with
of
the
it?
Xbox
Or
side.
Oh, interesting. Not OS.
that would make a pretty powerful
No, I don't think it'd go on the OS.
pretty
side.
powerful group. But
Jim Alchin's going to leave next
I was going to
year.
say, why
He
wouldn't
has-
it go on the
he
OS
has health
side?
problems. It's a
Oh,
problem.
okay.
That explains that.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that's a good theory. I mean,
It's as good as any.
it's as good as
It
any.
makes the stock more attractive as a speculation.
Well, there's precedent for this. Other companies have done this. AT&T's done it very successfully.
HP's done it.
HP did it.
It's successfully in the short term, I think.
Yeah,
Well-
actually, you're right. I shouldn't say AT&T's was very successful.
Motorola's Freescale is successful. There's plenty of examples. The HP stuff where they spun off the
Right, the printer
all
division and the
There's HP spun off all the
instruments.
Right, the
Yeah,
instrument
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
So it's not an unusual thing to do.
It makes sense, especially when a company gets unwieldy, which Microsoft clearly is unwieldy. It's too big. Yeah. So what was the other big story that you had, Patrick? That you
I don't know.
wanted
Is TiVo?
you
We have
said
like a
TiVo
list
shot
of
itself
like,
in the foot. We did that last week.
the subscription stuff.
The red flag. What's the subscription stuff?
This is stuff that actually.
Something new.
I think TiVo is like trying to drive itself out of business as quickly as possible.
I got a nasty
it
letter
sure
from,
seems that way.
from somebody at TiVo who said, "How could you say that? It's a great company."
It may be a great company and it may be a great product, but with you look at MythTV, there's all the different media boxes that are coming out there. Any new TiVo service subscription activated on or after September 6, 2005, you agree to subscribe to the TiVo service for no less than 12 months, blah, 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 blah. And if you cut out, they charge you a $150 early termination fee.
Whoa.
And you agree to pay any such early termination
That's like
fee.
a cell phone company.
It's
does
very
that.
much like a cell phone company.
Is it?
But that would explain. Then they can give you the hardware cheap or free, right?
Well,
Is that
they're
the
all,
pl- is that
maybe
the
they're
plan?
already giving you the hardware
It's
cheap for
$50
free.
after rebate. I mean, that's
It doesn't get a lot cheaper than that.
What percentage of providers don't have their own system that they want to
Everybody
give out?
does. I just got the Comcast cable
So then
box.
who,
It's just
who are
like
the,
the
who are the
TiVo
customers
box.
now for who are TiVo's new customers then?
I don't know because it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Because you have to get the cable to work or the infrared blast.
See,
or
I
that's
was
why
thinking
they're
they
doing
could
this, though.
partner with the cable card individuals, the companies
That
that
makes more
support that,
sense.
and
Right.
use
But
their front end.
They want to.
to-
They don't want to do that though. I mean, people
and
like
the channel guide
Comcast.
information.
Is there anybody that would buy TiVo?
as a company. You mean?
I would buy a dual tuner.
No,
TV.
No,
that
he
would
means
buy
the
the
company.
TiVo, buy the company out. Apple was rumored for a while, but that doesn't
I
really make
mean,
any
someone
sense
like
to me.
Comcast. I mean, their DVR sucks. If you look
Well,
at
he
it,
says
it
it's
works.
It's not bad. Then it's gotten better.
I mean, but it doesn't have the recommendations and things like that.
do you use the recommendations?
I have
That's the
before.
first
I
thing.
know
know a
my
bunch of
TiVo
people
thinks
who
I'm a
do.
gay pregnant man. That one? No, I don't. I
That's
think
because the shows
the
you say
only
thumbs
thing
up
that's
to, Leo.
missing, the only thing that's missing is the wish list, where you can enter in. I want to see everything.
and season pass.
Right. The
It has a
pass
season
is good.
pass.
Oh, it does?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I haven't played
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
it's not
season
intuitive
pass?
to get to it. You have to. That's where you record a show, every episode of a show.
Everybody does.
Yeah,
that.
everybody does.
But do all PVRs at this point match TiVo's functionality in terms of if your show changes times or channels?
Well, I don't know. I have
will
to
it update automatically?
Yeah.
I think
really
so
the
because
biggest
shows are
benefit to
identified
TiVo
as
right now.
by a number, a unique number, and all it's doing is looking for that number. I don't think it cares what the program guide looks like. That's a VCR you're talking. TiVo's recording by number.
The
I don't
Dish
think it's
Network one seems to work on time constraints.
like
I
you're
don't
recording
know.
a time, not a show.
Yeah, I mean, it says show, and you click on it, and it spins it out. But if the show doesn't show up or if it gets moved, it doesn't record it.
I'll tell you why Comcast is because you can look ahead to when the next recordings will be, and it will be in a
How far can
variety
you
of
look
different
ahead,
times.
though? Can you look ahead a year?
No, you can, and that's because of the Tribune listings. It's using the Tribune listings. You can only look as far ahead as the listings go.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah, but that means that the machine is smart enough to say, "I'm recording this show, not this time slot." Because that's what I'm saying.
But TiVo isn't that smart, though, because you can still set the little buffers like 5 minutes before, start the recording 5 minutes before the show or 5 minutes after, because it can't tie into that program guide information like a Comcast box could.
Right.
Right?
No.
Because it's just
TiVo
picking a
offers
time.
all of that.
Yeah, but what if it changes on the back end? Like, what if Comcast flips the time on TiVo?
That's
TiVo
up,
doesn't know.
That's up to the program originator, either the
Right.
station broadcasting it or the owner itself.
Even now, you can't tell TV to record a sporting event. And
Right.
have it go
Already.
into
That's-
overtime. You're not going to get
It doesn't know.
And already you have the providers tweaking start times and stop times of programs by a minute or so just
Right.
to screw up the TiVo
But
people. Who
what I'm
are
saying is
recording.
if you have a
Which makes
Comcast
like
box,
0 sense if you think about it. Why would you want to screw up somebody that wants to watch your show?
that it really
It doesn't make
really
sense.
boggles.
Because you
But
want
if-
them to watch the ads.
If you have a sporting event and there's like a Comcast box running and it runs a half hour late or extra innings or whatever, will the Comcast box continue to record all the way through the end of
None
the
of
sporting
them
event?
will currently,
Okay.
because it doesn't know.
unless
That
you tell
sucks.
it otherwise.
It don't know.
There might be a plugin for Myth that does something like that.
But
How
how
would it
many
know?
people offer
Yeah.
dual tuners? I mean, of all the
Comcast
DirecTV
box has
users,
dual tuners.
Yeah, it does. I just
it
got my
really?
new box has HDMI out now.
Yep.
Does yours have that too?
No, I have DVI out.
Okay, I have the
I would
HDMI
like
now.
HDMI,
Yeah,
although
they just got
DVI
a
is the
box.
same.
Do the end of
Yeah.
those boxes let you actually pull the content straight
No,
off?
of course
It's so funny because they have like
of
they have a
course
couple FireWire ports, they have a couple USB
Yeah.
ports, they have like Ethernet, but you can't do anything with
None
any
of them
those
work.
ports.
I tried the FireWire port. I thought, oh, cool, because my
Nothing
TV has a
happens.
FireWire port. Nothing.
It's
happens.
just a connector.
It's a connector. It's not. It's actually no wiring on the
I
inside.
finally sat down with TiVo To Go service this weekend and actually tried to move content from my TiVo to my PC and then burn that to a DVD I could play in a set-top player.
How'd that work?
It sucks. It sucks so bad.
Was it analog?
Number one, they've
bulk or what?
clearly made a deal, and part of this is the Macrovision that has been there for a long time, but the new features that allow content broadcasters to then flag willy-nilly however they want, whether or not you can keep it. But the other deal is with Sonic Solutions and their DVD burning software. The only way to burn from a TiVo box Series 2 to a DVD that you can play in your set-top box is using Sonic Solutions software, which costs you $50. So they must have made a deal with them at some point to say, look,
Well, it seems like they're desperate for revenue streams anywhere they can.
that's
get
been
them
there
at
for a
this
long
point.
time. But then I tried it, and I'll tell you, the transcoding, it's encrypted on your TiVo or whatever, but the time it takes you not only to move it over, however fast your network is, but then to simply decode all that video. I had 2 hours of content. It probably took me close to 2 hours to get that onto a DVD, and that's just...
Most people
You're
use
better
the
off
Myth
buying a
box for
set-top
this.
burner.
The Myth TV takes care of all these problems.
You turned him on to MythTV, Kevin, and now he's like this big MythTV supporter. That's
Actually,
great.
it was Milo.
Oh, Milo Medine?
He turned me on to
Yeah.
MythTV.
You did watch the system episode though, right? You said-
Yeah, but actually, I saw his thing afterwards, and it
all right.
kind of
Oh,
like,
okay.
Somebody would just make a generic set-top
What's-
box, though, that you could do that with without having to...
They kind
Hey,
of, but they're
you know,
really
there's
clunky.
MythTV was going to have a
PC-less.
reference platform. Have you been following that?
A
I haven't
hardware,
seen it come
hardware
out
and
yet.
software?
No, I haven't seen like they're going to say this is the specs.
Yeah,
that you
the
should build your
guys
box
who
around.
invented MythTV,
That's a good idea.
combined with some other hardware guys, were
Right.
going to come out with a reference platform so you could have a Knoppix-like disc that was MythKnoppix.
It's
Well,
out
there
there.
is.
They have that,
It's out
not
there.
Myth.
Yeah, I know,
Knoppix,
but this,
yeah.
but they
That's
have
what
all
you
the,
used, isn't
yeah.
it?
But they have all the specs for it. You know exactly what you can put.
So,
in the
yeah.
guaranteed
That would be
it's going
nice.
to work.
That would be nice, yeah. And then just build a disc and, yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Just, you take the instructions, throw this thing together, throw the disc in, you're
It's a great idea.
recording.
TiVo's been sitting on the same hardware designs for way too long. I mean, why are there no analog dual tuner boxes yet? I mean, sure, you can get it for DirecTV, but that's it. And I think that's one of the most important. Once you start using a system like TiVo, it's having that dual tuner ability, the ability to watch anything you want and to record anything you want simultaneously.
Item 3, Steve Jobs says the record companies are greedy.
They are.
Wow.
No more than iTunes.
Isn't this news from like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
From 2 or 3 years
Well,
ago.
you know that in January, because here's the story. I mean, it is old news in the sense that in January, and we've known this for a while, the record companies get to renegotiate with Apple, and they're pushing Apple to have two-tier. We talked about
Yeah,
it
like
at that
those
time.
margins, Apple.
In fact,
You
when
like
we were at the
selling
Apple
that
Store,
hardware?
we talked about it. Well, Jobs has stepped forward and said, if the record companies do that, they will be encouraging piracy, and they're greedy. And he's actually taken a pretty firm stand that he will not establish two-tier pricing.
Well, it's the other thing is that the record companies are already hitting back and saying, well, yeah, we're not getting a split of the iPod sales, so cough up or find another source for your music.
Yeah, well, I mean, both of them.
Yeah, but why should they get a cut of the iPod sales?
They don't want. No, what they're saying, what Steve is saying is, there's no room to make more money here. It's got to be 99 cents. Terribly sorry, you negotiated the deal. And the record companies are like, hey, we don't have this fabulous hardware model we're making money off of. You're making a lot of money off the access we've given you to our catalogs. Do you want to continue to have access to the catalogs?
They're
Do you
getting
want
70 cents on every one of those sales. What are they bitching about?
They're doing okay.
That's not what I've heard.
70 cents is what the number in the media
70-30,
is.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Edgar Bronfman, former Seagram's heir, who now owns Warner Music Group, said iTunes needs us as much as we need iTunes. So, I mean, there's a battle there. It's true. Who is more powerful? Obviously, the record companies
this
could
is
pull
a
out.
tradition with the record industry that used to happen with the retailers. Tower Records is a classic example.
Right.
One day, some years ago, they said, we're not paying you.
Right.
And they put the screws to us and said, we'll pay you, we're putting on net 90. You're not getting paid for a while. And the record companies,
What are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
Of course, Tower's still around. They're still doing it.
Kind of.
But you got to think that Apple, in the long run, the iTunes Music Store is pretty important to the record companies.
So would you still buy if they bump the prices up to $1.50?
Well, what they're talking about, which is fine with me, is charge $1.50 for the new stuff, and then charge less for the old stuff, which I think is fine. This is what Bronfman says. He says there's no content in the world that doesn't have some price flexibility. Not all songs are created equal. So some songs are worth more. We want to charge more. Some songs are worth less. We'll charge less.
Where's the evidence of this in the history of the record industry?
Well,
Those singles always sold for one fixed price.
You go to the store and there's a sale. They have
it's
closeout.
a cutout. Yeah, some junk they're trying to move.
But now you have online retailers with flexible
if you
pricing.
think about
that's the thing. It makes sense because they could change the price all the time.
All
music gives you
There's
one
no
fixed flat rate.
There's nothing physical
entire
that they have to
content.
get rid of. It's just a file on a disc. It's nonsense.
But I mean, look from their point of view. Look, we're in this great, ultimate flexible
That's
world
what
where
screw the
it's like
customers with it.
airline seats. We could charge. Look at the airline seats. You could charge whatever the market will bear, and you could change it minute by minute using computers. I'm sure they'd love to do that, right? Screw the customer as much as possible. Sales go up, price goes up, and it's a perfect situation. You can monitor it and change it as ad hoc. You don't think that'll happen? Huh?
Well, who knows? I just think it's ridiculous, and these guys don't have their act together.
Well, I think Steve's right that if consumers get PO'd, they'll just go back to Kazaa.
Well, I agree. I mean, right now, I'm happy. I'm okay with spending 99 cents a song, but if it's
not
$1.50,
$1.50.
I'm going to go to a Russian site and go crazy. You know what I'm talking
How do
about?
those guys get away with
I don't
all,
know
all,
what
all
is
of
this you're
MP
talking about?
all-
Russian
all
sites? I
of-
don't know what you mean.
All
Yeah,
of MP3.
MP3.com.
All of MP3.
All of MP3.
How do they get away with that? I guess there's no copyright law in Russia, right?
No.
Would you like some more Kangaroo?
There's no
Stuff gets
enforcement.
stuck in your
It's
teeth.
just they've had people go after them, but they've
It's Russia. What are you going to
What are
do?
you going to
you
do?
can say the same thing about the
Germany.
States.
There's a lot of the sites there.
Yeah.
Bulgaria.
It must drive the record companies crazy. I think because I've talked to end users who say, "No, I'm paying. I get it from all of MP3s, and I pay them $10 a month."
Technically, they are paying. They are paying someone who claims
Yeah.
to have legitimate
They
rights to
think-
resell the
They
music.
think it's legal.
And according to the guys at all of MP3.com, it is legal.
I mean, except for the latest tracks that come out, music is really a commodity at this point.
It is.
Damn it. And they will have it on. Pretty soon, every hard drive you're going to buy is going to come preloaded
It
with
should
music.
be 50 cents a cut.
It's
max.
going to be library-type material.
What about the
that
Yahoo
is
model,
open to
$5
everyone.
a month, unlimited? Is that a good model? The
Yeah,
subscription?
and
lot
then
of
you get
people like
then
it.
you get the program called MuvAudio. MuvAudio. You can go look it up.
And you
folks.
strip out the.
No, what it does is it's like an intermediate thing. When you play the song, it takes the data stream and kind of slips in between like a plug-in and says, "Let me just move the file over to this, over to here."
I'll take that.
And then so as it's playing it, it's saving it. you know.
Clever.
But if you think about Apple's model for $1 a song, that is no bargain. That is as expensive as a CD going to driving to the store buying it.
and the quality is worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You don't have the nice little package in the liner
Notes and all that stuff.
There's room for innovation.
Item 4. Name that worm. there is the Common Malware Enumeration Initiative. I can see you're all very excited about this.
I didn't see
bad,
this on
this
the
is
memo.
worse.
Well, this was like the phone mergers you had up. All of us are like, tell us more, Mr. Burns.
Well, I think this is a good idea, because right now, if you get a virus, PC Ceiling calls it one thing, Symantec calls it another thing.
Kaspersky calls it something else.
You don't know what your virus is, and go do a search, you can't figure it out. So they're finally saying, look, we have to come up with a common naming scheme. It's actually CERT, the Computer Emergency Readiness Team, that's promoting this, so that there's one name for each virus. You know, one girlfriend named in each virus name, and just leave it at that, you know.
It's a great idea.
I think it's about time.
All in favor?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
Next item.
Certified nomenclature.
So it shall be done. Make a note of that, will you, David?
Oh, of course.
Firefox, is it safer than Internet Explorer?
It is if you patch to 1.07.
Not if you don't patch, though.
No.
Yeah, big flaw. And now there's a very explicit online, a very explicit description of how to take advantage of this flaw. And you can just take over somebody's computer. You should put this on Dvorak.org/blog.
They will.
They just go there, and you could, like, own their computer.
It's
Make
possible.
them come back again
There have
and
been
again.
plenty of
I can rack up my
demonstrations over the
numbers and
years,
then show it to some, advertiser.
Make some money out of that.
Spam it.
Some security, I get this a lot, and I'm actually curious what you guys think. Some security experts say, oh no, look at Internet Explorer. There are fewer flaws this year than there were in Firefox. Firefox is holy. And then others, and I include myself in this, say, but the problem is that Internet Explorer is an invitation to spyware. Firefox is not. And it's open source, so of course we know about the bugs, right?
I wouldn't use
How many
anything
people
else.
here use Internet Explorer currently?
Yeah, how many in the audience?
How many in the audience? Internet Explorer
Anybody?
users?
That one guy.
Step forward.
Okay, we got one. How
He
many
just
people are
wants to
using
come on it.
Firefox, Mozilla? Anybody?
Yeah, almost everybody else.
So obviously we've conned you all into it. So
Yeah,
this is
it's
part
our
of our
fault.
grand plan.
It's our fault.
And because we make millions.
You find that the smart money. I've noticed this on my blog because I just track all the users. And when this, you can tell when somebody links from like a kind of a dumb site, and then somebody links from a smart site. Depending on, by dumb I mean users that aren't really
If they
sophisticated.
come from MSN or
You
AOL.
can see the browser stats just
Nice
change
name.
drastically.
Absolutely.
The Firefox people or smart users all use Firefox.
Yeah. It's like Google. Anybody intelligent? Well, this was a few years
This
ago.
is your- this
but
is-
this is how you could test if somebody. You used to do that.
I
didn't
used to
you?
do it all the time on the Big Thinkers. I'd ask whoever it was. In fact, I got Newt Gingrich. I said, "What do you use for a search engine?" He should be using Google. He says Yahoo.
There you go.
Does anyone use Opera?
Opera's free now.
I know,
I bought
but does
Opera
anyone
back
use
in
it?
the day,
Now
but-
that
We got
it's
one.
free, do they want to use it over
way back.
Yeah, there's a
Ted
couple.
uses
There's a
Opera.
couple.
I like Opera.
Yeah, Opera's a great product.
I think Opera's.
Weren't they
pretty
the
nice.
first to introduce tab browsing
Yep.
in a popular browser?
Yep. And now
That's where
they're
I
free.
loved it.
What's their plan? How are they going to survive?
Survive.
They took the ads
What?
out.
They're
They took
making
the
a lot
ads
of
out.
money.
You know what, though? They've done
It's
some
all from
innovative
Google.
stuff.
That's how they make money.
Through
They make
Google
money
searches.
from. Oh, is that how they make money?
They're
I
making
mean,
money through
what is it? The Mozilla, off of Firefox, they make like $12 million a year
From their
the
front
Google
page?
searches. From the Google searches.
Well, they,
Oh, you mean Google gives them a kickback
Yes.
when you use that little Google
Right,
thing
exactly.
in the address bar? They get a kickback.
Well, there's
We
also
got to write a browser. $12 million a year.
Yeah, wait, you didn't read that? They're creating a for-profit, section of Mozilla, and this is like.
It says Opera's built-in search box is currently powered by Google, and Opera gets a cut anytime a user happens to find their way to a Google ad via that search box.
Don't we all use that search box in the browser, right? I mean, you don't go to
Well,
Google.com anymore. You use a search box in the browser.
yeah.
I miss out on all the Google Doodles now. It stinks.
Yeah, you're right. You don't see the
Oh, I miss
cartoons
them
on the front
completely.
page.
You guys use
huge.
Google Start
That is-
page?
yeah.
where
They
you
also
customize-
Yes, I use that.
They also have their browser's
I
very
love that.
scalable, so they license to a lot of folks.
That's where they really make the
Right.
money. When we had
Well, I
Jan
don't
von
think they make that
Tetzschner on,
much,
that's
but-
what he was talking about.
the portable market, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, there's the first portable phone that makes an attempt to jump to your PC virus. It's a Symbian virus. They're all Symbian for some reason. And when you sync up to your PC, it jumps off your phone onto your PC to infect your PC. Fortunately, it's hard to get on the phone. It's probably harder to get on somebody's phone than it is to get on their PC.
How many people are making that
Sounds like a
connection
publicity
anyway?
stunt.
Either a Bluetooth link or...
I think all viruses
Soon.
are publicity stunts, ultimately, for the virus author, don't you? Did you see this? Google's offering free Wi-Fi now in San Francisco.
No one I know
it
has
was
been able
cracked.
to
You're the
find
one
it.
that said it was cracked, right?
Well, hold on.
Not cracked exactly.
It uses PPTP, which is if you use a bad password, is easily crackable. But I
No,
haven't
it's
seen-
secure. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
It's secure. They're doing it. I think there's a couple of access points in San Francisco, so nobody here has tried it, has found it.
I haven't found one yet.
The idea is people are saying this is the next thing for Google. They're going to do free Wi-Fi. I don't know. It must be one of them things where you get revenue somehow just by people magically using your system. But
They probably have a splash screen that's got
something. And then, so they'll put this we'll be sitting here, we'll be using Google Wi-Fi. But right now, you go on a Windows machine, you have to download a little app. And what the little app does is it handshakes. Well, somebody's figured out that it's just PPTP. And in fact, there's an Apple script that makes it work on OS X for free. So as soon as, if Google does do this, unless they turn this off, you'll be able to use Google VPN. Oh, actually, you can do it now. You can use Google VPN on any wireless.
Yeah.
So I could use it right now. What you'll do is you'll log into Google's servers, VPN servers, and you're securely surfing on any access.
Yeah, because it goes into their Google
It's
servers.
VPN.
I was using that actually from some of the hardware networks I was playing around with this week.
Isn't that cool?
This is going to make Google a ton of money. A ton of money.
Well,
Their Wi-Fi.
Targeted ads or what?
Targeted. I mean, we'll be sitting here right now. You'll have your little sidebar.
It'll thing-
It'll know where we're at. It'll
Yep.
say, "Hey, Noonan's has a special on beer."
That's
between
the key.
Blah blah blah. I mean, it'll be
That's the
amazing.
key. I finally figured out that that's Google's entire strategy is as long as they know what you're going to buy, they can
Or where you are.
where
or
you
what's
are. They
going
can
on
give
in
you
the
ads that
area.
you don't mind seeing because they're relative to what you're doing.
So how long is it before the local stuff on Google actually starts to become accurate? Because I like searching in
not
like
accurate
It's
now?
gonna be a while.
tire sale, and it's like, wow, I can go to Sacramento and buy tires. That's
Yeah,
local.
I mean-
Can't you just tell it though what your
Tell
radius?
Idaho.
You can't tell it your radius is 5 miles.
Yeah, but a lot of times it'll still spit back
gives you
some
more.
unusual and peculiar
Because
results.
there's always some guy in Sacramento who paid for that ad saying, I don't care. Put him in there, throw it in because,
Hey, Norton might drive out 93 miles to Sacramento.
and
you
they
know,
might be
You've
right.
driven further for less.
Norton would. I think Norton would.
Not for an extra $70 a tire, I won't.
It's so funny, though, with all the wireless protection schemes we've come up with, be it web or whatever, that finally we're rolling back to VPN in order to have a good, secure, easy.
But people have been saying that for
works.
years.
It works, though.
People have been saying, especially in the corporate world, it's like firewall it,
works.
put it outside the network, and have a
Yeah.
VPN.
Guess
through
what?
it.
Just throw a VPN client on it, or use the one built into Windows. And
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what'll happen. We're passing around the Kangaroo meat. Let me I want to talk about an interesting story that happened in
Bye.
World of Warcraft. But in order to do that, we have to bring in the two more members of our TWiT contingent. Would you mind, David and
Yep,
Roger,
yep,
letting
yep.
your seats, giving up your seats to Amber MacArthur and Jen Cutter? Why don't you come on down? Amber, of course, is co-host of Call for Help with me in beautiful Toronto. What brings you to the? Go ahead, put your. Yeah, you'll hear me better, and we'll get this. There you go. What brings you to the States?
Just decided to come down for the weekend, and
Just for the weekend.
Just for the weekend. Yesterday I went
A
to
long
a
way.
webzine conference, which was pretty
Webzine.
fun.
How was
yeah,
that?
it was really fun. We actually saw a presentation by Phil Troney. I think that's how you say
Yeah,
his last name.
yeah, from Engadget.
From Make Magazine.
Or is Make Now? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was good times, and
Yeah, that's cool.
flying back tomorrow night.
Wow,
Got to get
that's-
ready for Call for Help.
That's right. We've got a big shoe to plan.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's
How's
great to be
Command
back.
N going?
It's awesome. Actually, Brian, our post-production editor and camera
Brian
right
came
there.
too. There
yeah,
he
with
is.
his fiancee Barb. They're getting married next weekend.
I
so.
saw the Command N
Yay.
T-shirt, and I thought she was just a fan. Ah, she's in the family.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys. That's great.
Sorry, guys.
So you're
outed.
traveling the week before the wedding? So everything's planned, or are you guys eloping? So basically, is somebody else handling it? Okay, I'm like, wow, you're like a wedding. Most people are like sweating blood and like trying to buy napkins. And
Yeah, I think you guys should just elope. Cut out the middleman.
Vegas rocks.
there's nothing more peculiar than watching a Vegas on a casino floor, or watching a wedding on a casino floor in Vegas.
It's
It's
not on a
bizarre.
casino floor.
Every-
At least do the drive-through chapel.
Yeah, the drive-thru's good.
Inevitably, you go into a casino, there's a bride walking through going to the slot machines. It's the strangest kind of experience I've ever seen. Big white dress.
That's
you
my
know.
dream.
Is it?
Yeah. No.
Good luck. Good luck.
Not at all.
Where were we? We're at CES a couple of years ago. You and I are trying to like eat for the first time in 22 hours, and it's like above the Venice fake canals, and there's just like they're hammering through like every 8 minutes.
There's a bride
another
every
they're coming up, and there's like a guy with a Bible, and like bam, they're through, and the next one comes
It's
up.
pretty amazing.
Well, it's really bad at the Venetians when you have the couple, especially the guy you can always tell doesn't like this. They put him in the gondola, and and sing to them and drive them up and down that idiotic canal they have in there, which is like way too clean.
It's
for
chlorinated. Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
They
it
get this
stinks.
chlorine coming
Yeah.
off the canal.
Would you rather have a dirty, stinky, mold-filled canal?
I've smelled Venice's canal. This is much better, probably.
Yeah.
Not as realistic though.
I'm sure they could pipe in a scent.
So you do Command N is internet only.
Yep, it's
About 15 minutes a week.
Yeah, actually, we're getting up to almost 20 minutes now, so 20, 22 minutes. This recent episode, which is going out tonight, is about, I think, 16, 17 minutes.
And you do it with Michael Zazara.
Yeah, Mike Lazazara, and he's back in Toronto. We've put him to work, and Brian and my brother Jeff, so there's only 4 of us involved, so it's a small, swift team.
It's good, though. I love it. I
It's
watch it
great,
regularly,
yeah, it's really, really good. So this was our 16th episode that's going out tonight.
Do you have any idea how many people are watching?
I don't know. It's hard to say. We kind of estimate that approximately 50,000 downloads is about what we're getting each week. So, again, that's a bit of an estimate because of people BitTorrenting the show.
And you
as
don't
well.
know if it's mostly Canada or if it's worldwide.
Yeah, we have some pretty decent stats, so it's worldwide. That's the interesting thing is there's people from all over the place watching, from Australia, the Netherlands, Sweden.
That blows me away, too, for this, yeah.
I
People
know.
all
I
over
love
the
that.
world,
It's
yeah.
really, really fun. So I've met some interesting people from
really
different
great.
places. So
That's great. And now you've met Dvorak and Heron and
I know. Finally, I always listen
All
to you
the
guys, so it's good to
goofballs.
actually be here.
Also want to introduce Jen Cutter, who also has a internet television show called OpenAlpha.tv. And have you done episode 3 yet?
Yes, I released
It's
it
out?
just before I came here.
Oh,
yeah.
hallelujah. That's
It's a very
great.
quick one, though.
Oh, you've been busy.
Yeah, I shot it shot, edited, posted in the last 24 hours before I got on the plane.
I think it's just amazing to see this kind of emergence of all these shows. What gave you the idea to do a show? I mean, you didn't have any TV experience or anything, right?
No, nothing like that. I wanted some way to geek out about all the games and tech that I can't do locally because I don't have many friends who are into that.
Right. She's a World of Warcraft player, and I wanted to ask you about this virus. Did you guys hear about this? In World of Warcraft, there are instances, right? These are dungeons that occur just for that party.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the only ones wandering in it.
Yeah, you go in with your group, and then you get your own copy of it. So the next group behind you isn't going to be in the same dungeon.
Which is good. You don't want to be fighting that. So what happened?
What happened is there's this boss. I'm totally going to say his name wrong, but it's in the Zalgor.
Well, no one knows how to pronounce it,
Yeah,
right?
they always have so many vowels in them. But so this boss is called Hacker, and what happens is when he hits you, you get this corrupted blood disease.
He's the god of
The god of blood.
blood. So you get sick.
You get sick, and now this disease, it's pretty powerful.
Well, you got to be a 50-year level or higher to even get in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
So these are these are the top players. You have a level 60 character, yeah?
Yeah.
But I'm a level.
month to 3 months of playtime
I'll give you an
right
example.
there.
Yeah, I've been playing for months. I'm a level 11. A level 11. So you got to be pretty good. So this god is fighting you with some pretty
Yeah.
nasty stuff.
So this disease actually does about 300 damage a second.
God.
Every second, your health is just plummeting. So what
If you're a
happens?
level 60 and you get 300 a second, can you survive?
Oh
that?
yeah. Especially because like when you're in that kind of instance, you've got like a priest and a druid behind you.
The
always
druid's
healing
going,
you.
you're better, you're better, you're better.
But
Yeah.
you can't cure the disease though. That
Oh.
was the catch. So you just
It
keep
doesn't wear
toppling
off?
health. That was the problem. Someone survived the fight, went back to the city with this disease,
And infected the rest of Azeroth.
including the non-player characters like the Griffin Masters.
They would get sick?
They would get sick.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
But what happened is,
So these are the robot characters in the game. They're getting sick too.
Yep.
That's how realistic I guess the simulation is. That's amazing. So and because if you're less than a level 50, it's going to kill you right away.
yeah, I started a new character.
I mean, I don't have 300 health
Oh,
in my
yeah.
whole,
Yeah, I've
life.
only got 200 right now with a level 6. But
Right.
what happens is when you die of this disease, you then explode, and everyone around you gets that disease.
Yes.
It's sick.
It's the Ebola of World of Warcraft.
God.
They didn't plan it though this way.
No, not really. The same thing happened a long time ago when someone's pet got sick, and then they took that pet into Ironforge, and the pet exploded and took out everyone in the auction house.
That just sounds like a great way to keep people coming back for more. And
Now, when you
more
die in
and
World of
more and more.
Warcraft, you're not out of the game. You don't have to
No,
start over.
It's a 10% item durability penalty. You just have to run back to your body from a
That's the
graveyard.
pain. You have to go back. You have to find your body and all that stuff. So it's not like the end of the world. But what was the reaction of people to this? I mean, were people pissed off?
Surprisingly, people thought it was really cool that this could happen.
See, that was Robert's reaction.
It's a plague.
Yes!
Bring it on.
Medieval times, oh yeah.
Yeah, get everybody ready for bird flu.
Yeah, right. Avian flu. We're all set. I think, though, that what's interesting is that that's how realistic these simulations have gotten. If the programmers do something a little bit wrong, it kind of acts like the real world, and then it spreads. And
clearly anticipated some sort of scenario like that.
No,
Leave that kind of code in there.
But did they,
so that
or
that
did they
even
think it would
happens.
stay in the instance?
It might be organic. You don't know.
Yeah.
I think they thought it would stay in the instance.
I don't think it was planned quite this was going to get out the same way. Like
And then
someone
they-
probably just like beat the boss and Hearthstone back to town and then
She
died
was
and
supposed to
started
stick around
spreading.
and collect stuff and, high five the other players. Instead, she went back to town and got everybody sick. She was like Typhoid Mary. So I think what did they do to control it? Did they fix it?
Oh, well, some GMs were trying to quarantine players, saying, like, don't leave this area.
GMs are game
masters.
masters? Okay.
And so, of course, those players went, no, and went running around trying to infect as many people as possible.
Watch out, I'm on explode!
Hey, everybody, party at my house.
Come on
So
over.
the wacky coders who left the plague code in, basically, now the GMs are dealing with the aftermath. It's like, okay, if somebody gets it, we don't actually have a fix for this to keep it.
They can
from spreading
quarantine them,
wildly.
though, somehow.
They can. They can also banish you to an area where you can't contact anyone else.
They put you in a tree somewhere you can't get out of.
Sounds like an annoyance, but a fun one.
I think that you're going to see this is a success. And I think whether it was serendipitous or not, I believe it was accidental, it's going to happen a lot more now. Because doesn't it make it more exciting and more interesting? Throw in some variables like this into the game.
It's kind of cool that usually with a high-level character, once they're set, they're a permanent fixture of that game from that point on. And I may have a lot of friends who've made good money per month.
Selling stuff.
What is good money?
A couple, over, say, $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
That's good money.
People are making $2,000 or $3,000 a month playing games.
Jumping onto a brand new massive multiplayer game, building up a character before anyone else, and selling those
You
characters.
have to get in fast.
They buy it the day it comes out, and they are just so damn good.
Just
at
because
those
there's more
games that-
newbies in there. Jen's like that. Jen told me she could level up very, very
So
quickly.
how much money can you make a month?
She doesn't do that.
Don't do it so much anymore. But
You did
It's a lot of grinding, but
Not really. It's a
the
lot of
cash
grinding,
was
yeah.
there, and it's probably still
And you
is
make
for some of
stuff,
the newer
too.
games.
You learn skills and you can make
Oh,
things. She likes to fish.
Yes, I like digital fishing.
Have
I
you
made
ever
lots of
actually
money
fished
that
in
way.
real life? I mean, like a
No, never.
She fishes in the game.
I think you
and then
should
sells
try
the
it.
fish to people.
Try it.
Spends a
not
little
as
too much
easy as it
time
looks.
inside. I thought that was a very interesting story. I just think that we're getting,
I think it's kind of creepy, personally. But
You did?
Yeah, for some reason.
I loved Snow Crash, Neil Stephenson's classic sci-fi novel. And really, that was the first book that talked about a metaverse, a world that is a virtual world that's so realistic that people live their lives in there. There's an economy.
It's kind of like your place in Sebastopol.
Yeah, they're very much like that. It's like the barn.
Yeah, but in Snow Crash, they were going to send the virus back into the real world
That's
through
right.
the programmers that hung out in the virtual world.
Could happen.
So if you all start twitching and
No,
talking
it
to each
can't
other,
happen.
Stay away from
happen.
Jen, I guess.
Can't happen.
Can't happen?
Come on.
I read too much science fiction, I guess. All right. Any other stories that we want to cover before?
Yeah, I got the one about spam.
Oh, you get some spam.
No, actually, here's the deal. And
Where's your
I'm
hat?
going to post this, by the way, so anyone listening should go to my blog.
What would that be?
And type in Dvorak.org/blog.
Okay.
Type in a content spam. We have a fix for blog content spam that is astonishing. It's essentially Mark Burkell came up with it. And what he's done is he's found a command within the Apache server command structure that you can, which essentially do is block anybody who hits your, because anyone who's got a blog that's running off of any of these systems has got content spam. And you
it's a
do
big
this, you do
problem.
that. It's ridiculous.
You have some problems with that, don't you?
People
Spam?
put-
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
People
Content
put the
spam,
little numbers up to make it, there's all the stuff you can do. Well, essentially, there's a simple command within and I'll have the exact code posted, that basically tells anybody coming to your specific domain, if they're not coming from your domain and they're posting comments, then it's just thrown away. Because you can't really post a comment unless you're already on the site clicking on the comment button.
So you're saying they're using some sort of bot to post the spam?
It turns out, because my spam on content spam once Mark put this online, went from about 50 to 100, well, 50 typically, but sometimes as much as 100 over the weekend. Content spam hits to 2.
Wow. Big difference.
And the 2, we can't figure out how they got through.
So this is just verifying that you'd use the in-page or in-site
Yeah, you're
forms.
using his form instead of blasting.
Coming in from outside.
Simple, but
doing a
It's so
post
simple. In
from
fact, Marcus is stunned that no one has come up with this because he can't find it in the forums or anything else.
Well, Kevin, you and Amber both use TypePad, and
Right.
they have anti spam.
Yeah, what are they? It's called like type key or something like that. Where there's a couple different ways. They give you the option in your account on how you would like to prevent spam, and there's one that you can turn on like I think it's called like type key or
Do
something.
they have to
like
use
that.
a captcha
Well, you have to
or something?
register.
Oh, you have to
You have
register.
to register
Yeah.
as like a registered user, and that kind of
That sucks.
it sucks.
It's nice
Believe
to
me,
let
this
people
is a
just
pretty
comment.
cool-
on
I mean,
it.
so far,
They-
look at
Yeah,
them
but
going,
you know
"Holy
what?
mackerel."
People who comment anonymously and you can't email them tend to be just righteous
Well,
bastards.
you have to.
Well, I moderate, too,
That's how
so
I handle it
yeah.
on TWiT. Is you have to be a registered member
Right.
to post on comments on the TWiT board.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think it's just
I
a
agree. It's
barrier.
nice if people could just post.
Yeah, I think so too. I used to have a Blogger account, and I mean, a lot of people just don't want to log in, and they
No,
want to just post.
I don't blame
comments. Yeah.
I don't want to give you my information.
I just use Bug Me Not. Log in with somebody else's
Right.
info. And
Well,
just
actually, I have a
say
blog
whatever I
account
want.
too, and occasionally I'll be on somebody's blog and I want to say something, and then they say I have to log in. And there's the point where you say, do I really want to make this comment, or I just want to screw it, let the guy,
I still go in as an anonymous user if I'm posting comments anywhere, just because I just don't want to log in sometimes.
Right. I understand that. And I wish we could do something else with TWiT, but we've had problems.
Slashdot at least gives you the anonymous coward tag if you want to just post anonymously. So.
I love that.
But anyway, this is a pretty cool fix, and it really makes. I mean, I'm stunned by that.
Are you
It just
going to
disappeared?
So he's published this somewhere? Or
Yeah, I'm going to
you
put
got
it
the
up on
link?
my blog and put it
Okay.
in some forums probably tomorrow.
Steve, let's take some questions from the audience. What do you say?
Yeah,
Should we do it?
Sure.
All right, audience members, here's your chance. They can actually hear us now. Can you hear us? Yes. Okay.
Good.
Is the show started?
As the show started, I got a PA system, and they now can hear us a little bit. So if you've got a question, step up to the red microphone, or comment, or suggestion, or if there's something you feel deeply about, anything we were talking about, please just step up and say hello. What's your name?
Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Hey. This is actually more of a comment question, but I saw on Dig yesterday they had a video from 1998 of you talking about the Ultimate Gaming Machine.
Oh,
Have you seen that?
yeah. Me and Kate. Somebody actually posted
What's
it.
your comment on that? They're just,
It was a Pentium 2. What was it? Did you see it?
it was like you were saying it was great. That was 128 meg. You're never going to need more than the 64 meg.
I didn't say that. Did I?
Did you?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
you
great. You got to get me the link to
awesome.
that.
It was like
right here.
$4,500.
It was hugely expensive.
Yeah.
Pentium 2 system. Yeah, I remember that. That's cool. So that was on Dig?
That's awesome.
Well, you know what they did? The Tech TV or G4, they just all that video's online. If you just can kind of
You
dig
always have
through
to be
it.
careful about making these kind of comments. Like I have
don't
one,
think I
I
said
have
that.
one. I don't think you're ever going to need more than 100 terabytes of main memory. I think
That's safe.
I think I'm gonna
You'll be dead before you need more. Than that.
well,
Bump that
you
up
know,
to a
I-
petabyte.
Maybe
you never
not.
know.
Maybe not. Yeah. If you follow the Ray Kurzweil longevity method, you might live forever.
Oh,
I thought he had a question. He's just going to the bathroom. Any other questions? Anybody
Like
want
a
to
regular customer? Here we go. Couple guys.
step right up? Fight it out. He's got a great T-shirt. We'll work for bandwidth.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Oh, your Firefox T-shirt.
Actually, let me get a shot of the bandwidth.
Yeah, I was just wondering, are you guys going to have Marty or Megan on the show anytime soon?
I keep inviting Megan. She's got twin boys, and as soon as she can, she will. Yeah, absolutely. She said she would. And Marty is in L.A. We've invited him.
He'll be coming up here
He's
soon,
doing his
though.
own podcast though with Joey the
Yeah,
intern.
but he'd still love to be on.
Oh,
yeah.
more than welcome. Yeah.
They'd love
if
to be
Amber
on. This
can
is
come
the
all
number one podcast. Why wouldn't they?
Why
want to
would
be on?
Amber and Jen came all the way from Toronto.
Hey.
He can come up from L.A.
Exactly.
I think. Yes, and yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have him on.
All right.
In fact, really, the invitation's open to anybody who was ever on Tech TV. If
Anybody?
anybody, even what are you coughing about?
Nothing.
All right, maybe not anybody. There are a few exceptions. Go ahead. We'll work for bandwidth. What's your name?
My name's Al, and
Hey, Al.
I always thought you were a little bit taller, Leo.
I am shorter in person. Yeah. My head is huge, isn't it?
Is there any way you guys can post your some of your feeds that you read? RSS feeds.
We could talk about them. We could talk about it. That's a good
'Cause
idea.
you guys have a lot of good information I can't find.
That's what geeks do. I've noticed is they'll share their RSS feeds. Mike gave me his RSS feed, his
Yeah.
OPML, and I gave him mine.
I get
OPML.
most of my stuff from other people. I don't really do that. I don't have
People
really,
like email you.
Yeah,
things.
people are always emailing me stuff
That's
offbeat.
one thing is that when you're doing what we do, people are always sending you email. I mean,
Yeah.
you never, you see all that stuff always go by your email. What do you read anything besides Dig?
No.
Actually, Dig has a lot of stuff.
Dig's a
that's pretty
You know
good.
what
great
we-
resource.
You know, we just added. I'll be the first to announce it here. It's people don't know this, but we just added RSS to our search. So now you can search for, say, Dvorak and say, show me just the articles that have X number of digs under Dvorak that have been promoted, and you can subscribe to that feed, and it creates that dynamic feed constantly.
That's pretty sweet.
That's
pretty
That's
cool.
a very
that
good
could
idea.
be useful in a lot of different ways.
People are doing that
You
more and
got-
more.
Dig needs to be the where did that mechanism come from?
From me.
Kevin invented
from
that.
scratch.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, the thing, every time I see that, the way the mechanism works, because it's essentially a variation in terms of the way it attracts people, the way Slashdot did, only it's a much more modern concept. But I'm thinking to take the exact same structure and use it in other venues.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, okay.
It's coming.
It's
This
going to be
guy's way ahead
licensable.
of
It's going to
us.
be subscribable. There's going to be an upgrade.
There's
There's
all
going to be a
kinds of
member
stuff on it.
version.
He's got. Are you willing to make any announcements? At this
Not right
point?
now. Not right now. But we got a lot of good things coming.
There's
so.
some really exciting things.
We at Revision 3 and
Oh, there
Dig.com
he
plan
is.
to make future shareholders a mess of money.
So there's Leo and Kate on the TV.
Oh, you're actually you pulled it up. Huh?
It's up on Google Video
running
now.
a little slow.
Yeah, we don't have the greatest connection in here, but especially with 18 of us all using our Wi-Fi at the same time.
All downloading off BitTorrent.
Everybody else is watching that video now. You can stop.
Yeah, it's like froze.
So seriously, that's all you look at? You must look at
no,
other stuff because
I
you
do.
have to. Put
I like
stuff
some
in
of
the dig.
I like some of the really funky blogs out there. There's one like We Make Money Not Art. Have you seen that one? Like
I
with
like
the dashes in between it. They have
No.
a really
That's a good
cool,
name.
just unique stories. I like all this stuff from like the Engadget folks and the Gizmodo folks and Boing Boing's a fun site.
Boing Boing's the greatest.
Yeah.
Boing Boing and Metafilter are must reads
Metafilter's
as far as
great.
I'm concerned. Yeah, they're just wild stuff. What do you read, Amber?
I tend to read Waxy Links. I don't know if anyone else
Yeah,
reads
Waxy's
that.
great.
What's Waxy Links?
It's basically a blog that this guy has put together, and he puts 4 or 5 or 6 links every day of interesting things that are happening online. He deals a lot with Web 2.0 businesses, so I tend to read that as well as.
Sorry, we were watching the video, and you're so thin.
Oh, stop it! That was 7 years
I'm
ago.
sorry. Go back.
It's okay. I read TechCrunch as well. That's interesting, and also this other blog called ruk.ca. It's a friend of mine, so he always posts interesting stuff. But I also use Furl a lot, as you know.
I subscribe to, now that's a good use of RSS. I subscribe to Amber's
How do you spell
Furl
Waxy
RSS.
Links?
WAXY. You just have to. I don't know what the URL is offhand, but
We'll
if you
put it in the
just
show
Google-
notes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was so lazy last week I didn't do any show notes.
Because I didn't write them up and send them
Patrick
to you.
didn't send them. Yeah.
He wasn't here.
I know. That's why I didn't do any show notes. I'm not going to do them if Patrick's not going to do them. It's just not fair. You know what I've been reading a lot is 43 Folders. I think you told me about
Yeah,
that.
that's great.
It's kind of a getting things done. This is the new geek thing. Have you read this book, Dave Allen's Getting Things Done book? It's you don't need to do this because you're so organized and.
You're talking to me.
Every geek.
What's it called? 43folders.com?
43folders.com.
Is it 4-3?
4-3, yeah. Every geek has this issue, I think, of organization, and we're all kind of looking for systems because we're systems oriented, and that's the whole thing. Is this is a system? And this blog actually, is it a wiki or is it it's devoted to life hacks. It's like lifehacks.com.
Yeah,
lifehacker.com.
I love Lifehacker.
Oh, it's great.
I love that too. That's a good one.
I'm gonna get me a Moleskine.
Oh,
That's the key.
I have one.
That's the key.
I
Do you have
one?
one?
Too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You
you
gotta
take
get one.
That's the geek.
Moleskine.
Yeah.
You don't know about these?
No.
This is another geek fetish
Yeah.
object.
Well, tell me.
They were supposedly this French company used to make them. It stopped in the '60s. They're oilskin notebooks. You have your Moleskine? You can't really
I
be a
don't have-
Moleskine fan.
Everybody
if you don't have
buys
it.
them?
It's in my car.
Here's these coming.
I don't have
so,
mine with me,
So
unfortunately.
it's a little notebook.
see.
Apparently, Van Gogh used one. All these famous people have used them. It has this little rubber
black
band on
book.
it. It's a little black book. That's it. Dvorak's unimpressed.
Yeah,
it is
I
a
rolled
geek,
my eyes.
It is a geek fetish object. All the geeks are starting to carry these things.
The-
Is it it's thin paper?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it-
pretty thin.
You can
There's
get it
act-
like graphed or
Yeah.
straight line or.
There's actually a
Made in
group
China,
poll on Flickr
undoubtedly.
where people are hacking their Moleskine notebooks.
It's by the way, it's Moleskine.
Moleskine?
It's an Italian company. The French company went out of business in the '60s.
Well, it was originally a French
Yeah.
paper store.
Yep. And they went out of business. A guy named I can't remember his name. It was a
I mean, the problem is if I walk into Office Depot and I say, "Where are the Moleskine notebooks?" They're going to look at me going, "You mean the
mean
moleskins?"
You probably can't even buy them there.
They're expensive.
They're actually showing up everywhere now.
Are they?
They are the
Yeah.
hot thing.
Should be able
I'll
to
wait
get
for
it,
the
but
time
let's
when
sell
he's
some.
knockoff.
Let's sell some
Twit Moleskine.
Oh,
Moleskine
no.
is on the
Except
website.
we'll call them moleskins.
We can
And
get
you
them
can
made
hack them
in
with the
China
pocket
for
mod.
about 50 cents max.
They're underground though. You got to keep them on the down.
Yeah, we'll keep
Oh
them
yeah,
there.
this is the man who
Yeah,
started
tell me.
Dig.com because you like keeping things on the down low.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think that
Red
word
Dead
is
is making a
something
comeback.
else, by the way. You guys got to get your terminology correct.
More questions. Come on, guys. Step right up to the microphone. Here we go. Really, a lot thinner in that video?
You look like a male model in
I know.
that.
It's
I-
depressing. I'm going to go on a diet. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I don't have a cool T-shirt for you. I left it at home.
That's okay.
I do have a question, but first, I've got a friend who's a little ticked off at me that I'm here today as opposed to his birthday barbecue.
Oh, man. That's cool.
Dude, that's wrong.
It's a 4-hour drive.
You're gonna
You better hope you don't.
You
need
drove
to be
4
bailed out
hours to
tonight.
get
no, to get to his barbecue, it's only 2 hours to get here.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it was all math.
Where are you from?
Modesto.
Oh, great. Okay.
So if I could just say happy birthday to Chronic. It's a movie reference, not the drugs. Don't worry.
Sorry, Chronic, that we couldn't be at your barbecue. Maybe next time. I think
Thanks.
Noonan's is throwing us out, so we're all going to Chronic's for the next TWiTcast.
Okay, but question was, what do you think is the best way to, if somebody's having a conversation over Skype, to record that and then convert it over to an MP3?
Oh, I just saw a new app.
There's something called Hot
Hot
There's a new one
Recorder.
I
Hot
just saw.
Recorder that will do
It's
it.
good. It's one of the most popular, I think.
Yeah. The problem with it is that Skype, you only get one half of it, right? You get your side, or you get the person's side. But to get both voices is tricky. So there are little hacks. There's a Windows side hack and there's a Mac side hack. I think they use Hot Recorder on the Mac to do it, and it gets both sides of the conversation. The way we always did it was with a mixer, because I always had radio hardware, and it's much easier with a mixer. Because then you're recording your voice straight into the mixer, then feeding that into Skype, and then I'll record the output of the computer. So that.
But I'm poor.
Yeah, I know. That's the expensive way to do it. There's definitely software ways. I'll tell you what. We'll put. I'll put in the show notes. I'll put links to Hot Recorder, and I'll find the Windows technique. There's a way to do it, though.
Thanks.
Yeah. Are you doing a podcast, or you just want to record your?
We're looking into it.
Oh, good.
Just a little something for ourselves and our family.
You and Chronic?
Huh?
You and Chronic?
No.
No,
Later on,
Chronic
eventually.
hates him
For now, me and my cousin.
Chronic's
but
never gonna.
It'll be very self-indulgent.
Is that common with
Howard
most VoIP
Rambo.
apps, though?
Yeah, it is.
We
It's
have-
a problem. Yeah.
You can record yourself or the other person,
You
but
can't
not
both get both sides. Yeah. What is
Oh,
that
bizarre.
you're looking at?
This is the one that I saw floating around that records all of your Skype conversations. It's supposed to be the easiest way to do it.
What's the name of that one?
Powergramo.
I think it's pronounced Moleskine.
It's
It's spelled.
I was thinking the same gag. It's funny.
It's
What's
spelled
the URL?
Powergramo.
I'll give you the URL for the show notes. I'll paste it over to you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Patrick. I don't know what I would do without you.
Patrick's the man.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Ask another question. Since there's only 4 people in the audience anyway.
I don't want to monopolize this.
No,
but,
that's fine.
Okay. This is more something that I'm geeking out over, and I don't know if y'all have talked about it much, but what do you see about the, online schools that are working with professionals? The one I'm actually in now is animationmentor.com.
Oh, that's neat.
But it's where you just do like webcams with people who work in the business, from Pixar or whatever. And I know there's others out there. I just haven't checked. what they are,
Alex,
but
you
what
should
do
come
think?
over.
Is this a mentoring program, or
It's
is it an
a-
organized 6 weeks to
No,
whole
it's
better
an
rendering
actual
you?
certified school, California certified, based in Berkeley, but it's all webcam and
What's the name of the school?
animationmentor.com. It was created by people from Pixar, and you work with ILM. There's.
What do you think of it so far?
I love it. It's like I was going to a traditional school, and I graduated from one, and I wanted to go to one of these art schools here in the city.
They're too expensive.
And yeah, this one is like a quarter of the price for half the time, and you're talking to people who are actually in there,
Yeah,
and
that's
they know
nice.
you by name, first name basis. Shout out to Charles Allneck right now if he's listening. But
Might be a good way to get a job too down
yeah,
there.
well, when you're done with it, you're gonna know like 6 people in the business who like. The guy I'm with, he did the Yoda fights and all the Star Wars, and I'm sure there's a lot of good people there. I know there are, but it's a great way to do it because you actually get your foot in the door because you're working with people in the business. And I know this is not the only one, so if there's others out there, let's have them come out because
Maybe
it's a
somebody
great idea.
can email us. What's the name of this one again?
It's animationmentor.com.
Well, Alex is here, and Alex probably knows a little bit about this. He worked at LucasArts. In fact, did Lucasfilm. I'm sorry, did Star Wars animation too. Do you know about this animation?
Yeah, Animation Mentor is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a little different than what we do. The Pixel
When you
Core,
say we, you mean Pixel Core.
The Pixel Core, because we're really a guild, so we do a lot of training like a school would, but only because we have to get people up to speed.
Right.
We're not. The big thing is about 70% of our members are actually people working in the business. So 30% are like really full-time students. The price is much different. Animation Mentor is really inexpensive. I think it's like $13,000, $14,000 for the whole thing, instead of $30,000 or $40,000. The Pixel Core is $4,000 $400 a year.
Right.
So it's a little
But
less
it's not a
expensive.
training course
But it doesn't
per
do
se.
what we don't do right now currently is that hands-on, like you have
Right.
one-on-one meetings with instructors and stuff that Animation Mentor does. We would have to
So you
charge
think that's a good
$15,000.
program, that
I think it's a fantastic
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's sold out in like 6 weeks. So it's
What a good idea.
yeah, it's really well done. And I think more of them. I think a lot of the schools are trying to figure it out. The Academy of Art, Art Institute, they all have their own online versions of what they do, but they're a lot more expensive, and they don't really have the mix that Animation Mentor does.
So Leo, I think maybe podcastingmentor.com.
Podcastmentor.com.
I think we can make
We could do it.
Yeah.
Done.
We're,
And then I
we're the top podcast, apparently.
Apparently. What did you just get, Kevin? That looks
I don't
good.
know. It's awesome.
You just got something. Is that the Dipsy barley wine?
It's like a raspberry.
No, it
Give
looks
this a
like
sip.
some raspberry.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get it? Somebody just brought it to you?
Yeah, somebody just
Yeah,
randomly
it's poisoned.
showed up.
Have a.
Try a sip.
No, I'm not
I already
drinking
had
that.
Thanks for the
You can try
suggestion,
that.
I already
John.
had a sip.
I won't die, but
try
you'll
it.
live.
If he explodes in a bloody
All right.
mass,
Yeah, right.
And it infects everyone
it
around me.
affects all of us.
It's like a raspberry.
It's cassis. It's
Actually, might be cassis.
yeah.
Of some sort.
That's what it is.
Oh, it says framboise on the side.
Framboise.
It's a
No,
glass.
that's cassis too.
That sounds
It's some
delicious.
sort of a.
We got to get the Dipsy barley wine. They're famous for that.
Yeah. Well, that killed the conversation.
Barley wine.
You could try that.
I should.
You could
but-
be the barley wine guy.
Well, let's get another talker up here.
Another talker, please.
All right. I was just wondering, Dvorak, what do you think about the future of Mac? What do you think they're going to be doing
You know,
with
this is
Apple?
this topic that keeps coming up when I say that the Mac's going to be bigger than ever because they're gone to the x86, and I just have to wait for time to prove me right.
I think you're going to be right. I actually have to say I've come around. You were I was very negative about it. You were very bullish.
suicidal.
I was suicidal.
Oh my God!
It's all over.
They're going to Intel. I gotta buy some more computers so they get more expensive.
You know, the problem is still, I think there's still a reluctance to, because they have a lot of bad experiences over time, and there's a reluctance to take the full dip, so they're not going to go charging into this market. They're going to do it, go into the waiting side of the pool and kind of work their way over. So it's going to be a while, but I'd say 3 years from now, market share is going to start. That's when it's going to begin to double. So it'll go from
Double?
Yeah, 5 to 10. And then 20, and probably they'll be a dominant player.
20 is pretty good.
Yeah, I can see them going to higher than that.
Really? Wow.
Well, with operating systems, I think they can actually dominate.
If they were just selling hard software.
No, with both.
In addition.
Yeah, in addition to.
Well, I think I agree. I mean,
there will be no Apple computer in 20 years.
There's the other side of the. Now, finally,
about
thanks to
software
Amber, we
programmers.
finally, usually we have all these ThinkPads out, and Amber's finally brought a Mac to the table, which is good. Thank
I
you
hope
for doing
it's
that.
okay with everyone.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
We were at the Apple store. We had a lineup of IBMs. There were no Macs in evidence.
But
at all.
everybody sitting in the front row is all Mac, with cameras and stuff.
You can humble a Windows user really quick, sitting them down in front of an Apple system and just try to figure it out real quick. And
Is it that hard?
It is. For me, it's
Really?
so unintuitive that I'm just like,
What, the Apple?
yeah.
You're kidding.
If you've never
that.
seen a computer before, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to fall into it. But
What,
if
you
if
keep
you're
going
so
to the
used
bottom
a
of the
Windows
screen trying to
environment-
click the start
Well,
button?
for one, finally,
What are you doing wrong? Is this
When you
the
got
same
no,
basically the
no,
same
no,
thing?
right-clicking on a mouse button.
I
even.
wish everyone
Something-
could see your face right now, Leo, because you're
I'm
like, these
stunned.
people are idiots. How can
I'm
they not
stunned.
understand? No,
I mean, I grew up learning to program on Apple computers,
Look of
but it was
befuddlement.
I'm befuddled.
a one-click
but in
mouse
terms of
will
the OS
stop
and
an
learning
Oh,
the
yeah.
OS.
And I tell
It is
Windows
different
people, the
enough.
first thing to do is get rid of the one-button mouse and get a two-button mouse. But then it's exactly like.
And by the way, I expect a 2-button mouse to be very slowly adopted by
Oh,
the
I
Apple
hope so.
users.
Oh yeah, this stupid Mighty Mouse. I'm so sorry I bought a Mighty Mouse.
It's a piece of crap.
What a junky mouse.
Yeah. You
It's a
squeeze it, you
collector's item.
squeeze the
Don't
side,
use it.
you don't feel
Don't
I'm
take
gonna,
it out of the
I'm gonna
packaging.
autograph it and give it away in the box of crap.
There you go.
It's not just a
You get
mouse.
your money
it's a
back,
design
if
statement in
nothing
the
else.
evolution of interface devices.
It's stupid.
Yes, it is.
I got one more can of Spam to give away.
Did you give away the other can to the Australian guy?
Yeah, he's got
You're
it.
gonna have to declare that to Australian customs. I don't think they're letting you bring it in. They're gonna say
Yeah,
no
they
way.
will.
No
No
way.
canned meat into
But they'll probably
Australia?
actually, a lot of these customs guys, they steal it and then eat it for lunch. Happened to me once coming in
Did
from
they really?
France, yeah.
Did you
I know they
travel
did.
a lot with Spam?
You can't bring in meat. I guess meat in Europe is bad, he says. I had a salami, a beautiful one.
Oh,
That
so we had
Polish
that.
salami.
Yeah.
Took the thing.
It's
It was
terrible.
right around 11:45.
FedEx everything.
That was
You're in
the
a foreign
end of it.
country.
Yeah, you should have just sat there and ate the damn thing before going through.
FedEx
I
it
don't
back
know
to
about
yourself.
eating a whole salami in front of somebody.
That's kind of disgusting. Isn't that a Lucille Ball episode?
Probably.
I think so. They had to eat the cheese before they got off the plane. I may be wrong. I may have fantasized that.
All right, I'll give you the last can. You wanted it.
Come here. Come here. Take the last can. This isn't just Spam. It's crazy tasty Spam.
Hey,
It's
there's
crazy
a macaroni
tasty.
cheese and Spam recipe on the back too.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Well, I think we've pretty much milked this particular episode of This Week in Tech. Thank you all for being here. You got your hats. I actually want to thank some people for stuff. We got those great banners from Del Vanderver of Express Signs and Graphics in Gardendale, Alabama. The hats came from Chris Haynes in Corporate Casual. Should we make some of those, John? You think? I think they're pretty nice.
I think you could sell them.
I like them. Who else? I want to thank AOL Radio, of course, providing the bandwidth for this podcast, AOLmusic.com. Next week, we're going to be at a new location we haven't decided yet, an undisclosed location, and we will be starting an hour early, 3 p.m. Pacific, because Corey Doctorow will be joining us from Boing Boing and EFF. You want to do it at your place?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody at
I have a big
Robert's
deck.
place. Do you? That might be kind of fun.
Sit out there.
Can I bring my dog?
You can bring your dog. We need a place where Patrick can bring his dog.
I want to bring Phelan.
Phelan? You named your dog Phelan?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
We can sit by the creek.
Heel up? So you have to
Nothing
call the dog.
like
Yeah, here, Phelan.
a hound named
Some of the
Phelan.
names dogs are named in
P-H-E-L-A-N?
That's the phonetic spelling. That's a good one.
How do you spell it?
Well, if you do the Gaelic
Like
spelling,
Phelan
it's a
Groovy?
nightmare.
Oh, it's a Gaelic.
Yeah.
He's an Irish
He's
dog?
Little Wolf in Celtic. Relax.
Is he an Irish setter?
Dvorak's like, what the hell are you doing now?
Okay. Little wolf. Come here, little wolf. Thanks to Mark Blasco of podcastthemes.com for our opening theme. Of course, the great Ashley Twit for our closing theme, and Alex Lindsay and the fabulous Pixel Core. Thank you for being here. We're going to do another video. All right, you can look for it on, is it rev3.org/twit?
Revision3.
Revision3.com/twit,
right, Ron? Yeah, cool.
Oh, Ron's here, too.
Yeah.
Is that Ron?
That's Ron.
That's the famous Ron. You're a Unix guru.
He's the Unix guru right there.
Hey, it's nice to see you. Yeah. He tried to help me.
What happened?
Nothing. I was helpless.
Exploded.
Couldn't be helped. Our Twit intern is Matt Granowitzki, and if you want, we'll start taking audio questions again next week. So if you'd like to leave a question on our voicemail on Skype, it's This Week in Tech. You can call or fax 206-339-TWIT. This is a Seattle phone number, though, so you're responsible for the toll charges. Or email a waiver MP3 to questions@thisweekintech.com. Amber MacArthur, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
CommandN.tv.
Yes, CommandN.tv. So
MustSee.tv.
Must See, yes.
And, of course, on Call for Help. Now on Dish, Channel 191, DirecTV, Channel 354. See, I had you on so I could plug the show. And on your local cable, it's 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You have to get up early for that one. And Jen Cutter.
Oh, it's been tons of fun.
Good work on OpenAlpha.tv. It's really great. I'm going to rush home and get number 3. And we'll see you on Call for Help, too. She's going to show us OS 10 on a PC on Call for Help soon.
Good idea.
Shh, don't tell Apple. It's a secret. Another Twit is in the can.